Hey folks, this is Rob from Chicken Ranch Homestead. Coming here to you today on a really hot day to all of a sudden a really stormy day. I kind of wanted to talk to you about what we do for our animals on really hot days and what we do for real rainy days. And we're going to have a mixture today. It's about 5 o'clock at night. So pretty much most of the animals have already ate for the day. Some of our goats eat real late at night, and of course our sheep, they'll eat pretty late too. They'll go out till about 9:30. But on hot days like today, we tend to water all our animals about 3 times a day. We do in the morning, I go out in the afternoon, and I then come out at night. Well, tonight will be raining, and that's okay. But we'll still water them because it's been a hot day throughout. And with our sheep that we have a dozen of, they take in a lot of water through the grasses they eat. So they really don't go through a lot of water. But our donkey, our guardian, she will drink a lot of water. So for our donkey, she goes through about 2 to 3 gallons a day on a hot day. The sheep, all dozen, will go through about 2. I'm going to move in. I'm getting rained on. Might get a little dark. Oh well. I'm actually in the back side of the barn. So our donkey will probably go through 2 to 3 gallons of water today. And the sheep will go through about 2 gallons, which they normally don't go through a lot. They sometimes will only go through 2 gallons in like 2 to 3 days. And then our bucks and our girls that you've been seeing on videos or haven't seen, you should go check it out. I have a 4-gallon water for them bucket, and I fill that about once a day, and the 5 of them go through about 4 gallons in a day. Then we also have some feeder goats here on the property that you've never seen. And those 5 tend to go through about 6 gallons a day. They're all bucks. There's only one wether. They're a little bit smaller. They eat more feed. They're more feed based. So they go through a little more water. So that's what we do on hot days, is we really make sure they're hydrated. If it's much more than 90 degrees, then I start looking at adding electrolytes and whatever to the water. But today didn't get to that point. It's only been that way twice, and I really only mix up like 5 gallons of electrolytes, and I split between everyone. And then our pigs, of course, on hot days, I add water to a wallow. So they can go in there, and they have a 4-gallon water, and I fill that probably 4 times in one day. It's never empty, but I keep it real full because they don't sweat. It's really starting to rain. It's probably messing with the sound quality at this point. Yep, it's coming down. But the pigs, then I add a wallow, and I add about 10 to 15 gallons of water into a hole they've already dug from rooting, and they enjoy that and they cool down. Plus they have a little lean-to like shelter, so they stay under that shelter to stay out of the bright sun. They're not in the forest right now. I'm hoping for next year that I move them back into the forest so they have a little more protection from sun, a little bit cooler, and also they can kind of root up back there and take care of certain weed issues and small saplings and take care of that stuff. Then in the last part is we have all our chickens and 2 pygmy goats in the back with the chickens. The goats go through about maybe half a gallon water a day, these 2 little pygmies. They really don't go through much. The chickens don't go through a whole lot, but I have bell waters throughout the property. I have 4 bell waters. I have about, with turkeys and guineas, probably close to about 35 birds on the property. So I have 4 bell feeders throughout the property. Plus, with our meat birds, they have a 5-gallon water on them that I fill twice a day. And then in one of my coops, I have a 5-gallon water too. The biggest drinkers are the turkeys and the guineas. They're growing, they drink a lot. The chickens, not so much. And we have a small pool for our ducks, and they wade in there, and everyone kind of drinks from that pool. It's a little $5 Walmart kiddie pool. So that's pretty much what we do on hot days. Now for rainy days, when they're not going to be in the pasture, we kind of do some different things. One is the sheep will go out and pasture even if it's raining. They're wearing their coat. They have their raincoat, water sheds off them, even though they're hair sheep. And they tend not to mind the cooler weather. Also, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dark colored hair sheep. So they really like the cool weather and a little bit of rain on them. But what we do is we have hay feeders for them, and we feed a second cut hay to them. That's what we always feed them, is second cut. We have the hay bags that you can get from Tractor Supply, Amazon, all those things. And we'll tend to fill those up and make sure they're full for those rainy days. The bags and sacks, we don't refill those until raining. But we always have a hay feeder that is filled. And it hasn't been raining much. I filled that hay feeder, honestly, probably 15 days ago. And there's maybe 25% in. Well, it's starting to stop. It's getting a little windy. But for our goats get feed. But our grass are pure grass fed. So they're only on hay. There is no grain for them. The goats get some grain. So I will feed some hay to the goats. I get some bales that are pretty cheap. There's a guy nearby us that sells bales low as $1 because they're like last year's. They're not the tightest bales. They've never been wet. There's no mold. There's no nothing. It's just lesser hay. Some people would call it bedding hay. We'll feed the goats some of that, along with some other Timothy grass hay that we get that is lesser quality. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it was sprinkled on. There was a mist one day. It got a little wet. The guy pulled the trailer into the barn, but he sells it as being rained on, even though there's no mold, and I'm getting stuff off the bottom of the rack. And the water's never touched it. But we'll get those bales $3 to $4 a piece. Square bale, 50 pounds. For around here, where we're in western Pennsylvania, that's about right. Sometimes hay's a little bit cheaper, sometimes it's more. But bedding hay, sometimes our goats, if there's no mildew or anything on it, they'll eat it because they like it. I'll use it as their bedding, and I find out that they start eating their bedding, so then I feed it to them. Am I wrong by doing that? Maybe, but they're eating it. There's no manure on it. There's no mildew. They're not getting a lot of nutritional value out of it, but we're also giving them feed, and usually they're back out on grass the next day. If it rains for multiple days, then I bring out the better hay for them, and then they're out there eating that hay in their shelter because they just don't come out they just don't come out in wet weather. They're afraid of the rain because they're all sugar and spice and everything nice, and they're going to melt away. Sheep, they don't care. The donkey really doesn't care either. My chickens, some are out there right now. Most of my older chickens, they don't care about rain. They just go out there and they're fed out of their feeders every day. But that's some of the things we do for hot weather and rainy weather. Being that it's hot and being that rain is moving in a cold front, that means severe weather. I'm a big weather person. I watch the weather a lot. I lived in a town that was destroyed by an F5 tornado. So I always kind of keep my eye to the sky, listen to the radio. We have a ham radio that we have set to Skywarn frequencies. Then I also have a weather radio that I'll turn on if I find it necessary. And I also have a scanner, police scanner, for the local county and fire departments to see if they have anything to say. And I usually have a radio on in the background. Right now it's through an old iPhone, so it's all my old music and not the actual weather or actual radio station live. But that's what we do here at the ranch. In the sense of severe weather, I should touch on it, is if there is tornado warnings or tornado watches, which are rare here, the only thing I can pretty much do is move all the animals into the back of the barn. I don't have a way to jam them all into my house, into my basement. It's an old farmhouse. It was built in the turn of the century, so it had originally a dirt floor. I have 8x8 hand-cut beams by an axe downstairs. So you already know that it's only about 5'5", 5'6" clearance down there. I actually touch the ceiling, and I'm not a tall person. I'm probably 5'7", and if I walk with my body straight, I'm banging off of beams. So there's no way to get him into a safer spot, but other than this back of the barn. Is it the safest? No. Is it cover from heavy rains and everything? Yes. I have coverage from that. I have a sliding door, so this big open area will at least be sealed off. The one side of the barn has an opening, but there is a metal gate, so I can close the metal gate to keep them in, and they'll probably move out of the water to begin with in the high wind. So severe weather, that's the only thing we can do. But I'll leave you go. I hope you have a great day, and tell me what you do on hot weather different for your animals. Maybe it's something I'm not thinking of. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thanks for watching. Those who know me know I'm a little bit of a metalhead. I'm going to find out if Rhyme is down with the sickness. Hey, Rhyme. Rhyme, are you down with the sickness? Maybe. Rhyme, are you down with the sickness? You're down with the sickness?